Greetings, everyone. Dane Simair Flyer. So I haven't, let me just get my system set up here. I think I can turn that off. Okay, so I have not been on a stream for a very long time. So first of all, I'm going to apologize because I'm trying to get myself set up. I think everything is good there. Yeah, okay, so that's on. All right. It's been over 2 years since I streamed. And prior to 2 years, I only streamed maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 months. So I really don't have a whole lot of experience. In fact, I'm an infant at it. And I had to stop streaming because there were some health issues and some other life issues that came in the way, and streaming had to take a back seat. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue streaming. We'll see how this stream goes. And I'm starting off this stream with basically a facts and a tour. Part 1 is going to be the facts and the tours of the Great Lakes and the Welland Canal, and Part 2 is going to be this flying down the St. Lawrence Seaway. The Great Lakes is and the St. Lawrence Seaway is are shared bodies of water between Canada and the United States. So I'll just show you what I am talking about there. So let's just bring this onto the monitor. So the Great Lakes, for those that are not in North America or may not know, the Great Lakes, there are 5 Great Lakes, and they are shared between Canada, which is all up here in the gray, and the United States, all down here in different colors for their different states. And the border in the waterways, the international border in the waterways, consists of this white dotted line here. So on the south side of the line here is the US, north side is Canada, and the west is the US, the east is Canada, and there we are. So we start off with Lake Superior up at the top, and then we kind of come down here to Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Erie, Lake Ontario. So it's an interesting fact that the lake, there's two provinces that border the Great Lakes, the province of Ontario in Canada and the province of Quebec. And in the United States, there are a lot of states that border the Great Lakes. You've got Minnesota, you've got Wisconsin, you've got Illinois down here. They get a little tip of the Lake Michigan down here. We got the state of Michigan. State of Indiana gets a little bit of a tip right here as well. Ohio gets a little touch of it, and so does Pennsylvania, as well as the great state of New York. So that's the Great Lakes. Some interesting facts about the Great Lakes is that it covers an area of 94,000 square miles, has an average depth of 60 to 480 feet, and here's your maximum depths here, 210 to 1300. Water volume, 5,439 cubic miles, and it gets frozen between the months of January and March. Now, the Welland Canal, which I'll show you, actually, let me show you that on little nav map, or maybe I'll show that to you on Navigraph. Okay, so let's just open this up. So the Welland Canal goes between Lake Ontario and Lake Erie, and it's all on the Canadian side. And so it's a Canadian-built canal, but it is managed and supervised and shared responsibilities of the U.S. because that canal allows shipping from the Atlantic Ocean down the St. Lawrence Seaway, Lake Ontario, through the canal into Lake Erie, and then access to all the American bodies. And the famous Niagara Falls is just over here to the east of the Welland Canal. So our tour today is going to start in the city of St. Catharines. We're going to fly up to the north tip of the canal, which is Port Weller, and we're going to fly down the canal, go over all the various locks in the canal, down to the south tip of the canal, which is Port Colborne. Then we'll fly east to the southern end of the Niagara River, and this is the United States over here, and this is Canada over here. And we'll fly up the Niagara River up to Niagara Falls. We'll do a little circling around Niagara Falls. We're in the helicopter, the 407 helicopter, and then we'll continue north up the Niagara River, up to the north tip of the river, and then back to St. Catharines, where we will end our little flight tour. So that's the plan today. I must tell you, first of all, I am not a very good helicopter pilot at all, but I just figured we're going to be going over Niagara Falls. We should really use the helicopter. So, the Welland Canal. Little facts on the Welland Canal. So the Welland Canal is a length of 27 miles. The maximum length of boat that it can take is 740 feet. The maximum width of the boat, or the beam, is 78 feet. The maximum draft that the boat requires is 26.5 feet. The Welland Canal is always open. And just the facts, when it started, the construction began in 1824. And it's now, of course, been 200 years since that was started. It was completed in 1829. So really, it only took 5 years to build. Okay, and that's the end. That's going to be the end of our part 1. Part 2, we're going to be looking at the St. Lawrence River and the Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence, but we leave this for now. So now we're going to get back to the helicopter and begin our tour. Before we begin the tour, let me just get the drone out. And we're just going to do a quick tour of St. Catharines, because this particular airport that I'm at is really interesting. It's an add-on from flightsim.to, and the person that did this, his wife is also an artist. Ilana Block is her name. And her husband created the scenery because he's a flight sim fanatic, just like the rest of us. And I must say he did a great job. So he's got Ilana, his wife, has some of her art over there in the hangar to the left. And over here, that's her wings art, and her African art is over here to the right. The Shaw Festival is a famous festival that takes place in Niagara Falls, and there's wine tasting tours, and of course the helicopter tours, which is what we're going to be doing today. And here is her Ilana's artwork. Now these are actual paintings that she has done. You can see her signature down here. And they've simply taken an image of her paintings, and her husband has placed these images into his scenery. Ilana Block. I-L-A-N-A-B-L-O-C-K. Beautiful work. And before we get going, let's just go down to the other art display over here in the other hangar, and it's titled Wings. A good name for a airport. And here we are again, Ilana Block. These are paintings of the various birds that she likes to do. Really nice work. Very nice work. Okay. Let's see if we can fly this helicopter without crashing. Flying it isn't actually too bad. The problem I have is landing. Alright, let me get my maps all ready, and we are going to be good to go. So first we're going to head up to the northern part of the canal. We'll just head out right here. Just gonna head over here. The sound on the 407 seems to be quite low. I tried adjusting it to get it a little bit louder, but I didn't really have much luck doing that. I hope you brought your sick bags with you, because when I fly a helicopter, it's going all over the place. But that's okay. There's no extra charge for having an amusement ride thrown in while you're doing a little tour. Okay, now before we get too far along the canal, I want to tell you that Microsoft Flight Simulator really hasn't done a great job at all on the scenery in this part of the Niagara area. You'll see as we go up the canal, as we head south along the canal, you'll see what I'm talking about. There's a lot of very poor scenery. The graphics just kind of pop out at you and they go away, and there's big ridges, and just not very good. Okay, we're at the north tip of the canal. This body of water over here is Lake Ontario. Toronto is right across the lake over there. And that's where we'll be actually starting part 2 from. Alright, so let's get down a little lower. We certainly don't need to be at 3,000 feet. See what I mean by the scenery? You'll see in a second here what happens. See how it's split across the water there? And they have not depicted the locks very well. The canal locks. Very poor Very, very, very poor quality. See how it's coming in? It's blotchy. Very blotchy. And I do not see this in any other areas where I fly. I've never seen it like this. This is the only area that is affected by this. There's one of the first canal, or first lock, I should say, that we're flying over. So right now we are heading south. The airport that we left is just over here. And we'll just keep going down the canal. This is another lock coming up, the second lock. Kind of a hazy day today. In fact, it's a very hazy day today. I do have it on live weather. It's a windy day too, by the way. Very windy. So here's another one of the locks. I do hope Microsoft 2024 does a better job of the graphical scenery. It's just not very good. Way over there is Niagara Falls. This is the main highway. It's called the Queen Elizabeth Highway. It goes all the way down to Niagara Falls, and it wraps all the way around and takes you to actually all the way to Toronto. Here's another set of locks coming up. And by the way, my streaming, when I'm done streaming, whoa, settle down here. Settle down, Dane, settle down. There's another set of locks. I have personally visited this area probably 3 times in my lifetime. This is a lift bridge coming up. So what I was going to say was, when I'm finished streaming, I will send it up to my YouTube channel, which for my followers to see on that channel as well. So here's another set of locks. That one isn't too bad. Not too bad. It's the scenery isn't moving too much. That one's actually pretty good. Another lock right there. It's a nice sunny day. However, it is hazy out there in the water. That's Lake Erie, which you can't really see because of the haze. Here's another set of locks right here. Better stay above these chimneys. And that part of Lake Erie that you'll see when we get to the end of the canal is still Canadian waters, because the international border along the lake is in the middle of the lake. So this part of the lake will still be Canadian waters. Here we have another lift bridge. This part of the world, by the way, the Niagara region is absolutely beautiful in the summertime. There's a lot of orchards, fruits, and of course the famous Niagara Falls is a huge drawing card for tourists. And my wife and I have seen that many times. In fact, we took a helicopter tour over the falls a number of years ago. This was I always wanted to be in a helicopter. In fact, I thought of taking helicopter lessons to be a back in the day traffic reporter for one of the radio stations. I had already acquired my commercial pilot's license out of what was called the Toronto Island Airport. It's now called Billy Bishop or Toronto City Centre Airport. But back when I flew, which was back in the late 60s, I got my private license and my commercial license out of the Toronto Island Airport. And that's the airport we'll be using to start part 2 of the stream. That is, if I survive this stream. Now look at this anomaly right here in the canal. Look at how that Microsoft made a mess of that, and there's another one up there. Oh well. Hopefully 2024 will resolve these issues. Now we're getting close to the end of the canal. So again, this is where all the shipping traffic goes north and south, carrying produce from the US into Canada, as well as out into the Atlantic Ocean and over into Europe. And it's also, of course, vice versa. Ships coming in from the Atlantic come down the St. Lawrence Seaway. They come into Lake Ontario. They go down where we are now, down south over the Welland Canal, and out into Lake Erie, which you can just now see a little better as we get close to it. And from Lake Erie, they can, as you saw on the map, they can go all the way up to Lake Superior. So we're just kind of cruising along here, a little bit under 2,000 feet. We've got a healthy speed. We've got an indicated airspeed of what, 130, 135 knots. That's a comfortable speed for this 407 helicopter, which, by the way, is a really nice helicopter to fly that comes out of Microsoft Flight Sim. It's a really nice helicopter for a novice to fly. I also don't mind the H-135, but I think of the two, I think I can manage the 407 a little bit better. We're coming up to the last set of blocks, and then we're going to head east over to the Niagara River. So, To stream or not to stream? That is the question, isn't it? To stream or not to stream? In a way, I like doing just doing like content creation, where I will, you know, record a video of a flight, and I can edit it, make changes to it. Oh, here's the last set of locks. Just a second. Let's just get in proper view here. There's the last set of locks right here. And then right out into Lake Erie. Alright, at this point I'm going to turn this bird eastbound and make our way to the Niagara River. Alright, let's head east. So what was I saying? I was saying I do like doing videos, being able to edit them, and then post them on YouTube. I've done a lot of videos. Some of them are instructional, some are tours, some are comparisons between one product and another product. I kind of like that. We'll just see how streaming goes. Okay, so we are heading eastbound on the southern shore of the province of Ontario. That point out there is called Point Albino. It's a lighthouse in real life, but unfortunately Microsoft hasn't depicted a lighthouse on it. So we'll have to pretend that we see a lighthouse out there. So way over to the east, you can see a little bit of landmass there. That is New York State. All over there. So the United States is all over there. And it comes in, wraps into here. And Buffalo, New York is a big city that we'll be coming to. Let me just get my map back here. I lost my map. There we go. Yeah, Buffalo, New York will be coming to very, very shortly, actually. And Buffalo, New York is on the east side of the Niagara River. So there's a lighthouse there, actually. There is a little lighthouse right there. So I was mistaken. I apologize, Microsoft. I actually didn't think they showed a lighthouse there. Whoa, settle down. So that right ahead of us there is Buffalo, New York. All up in there. Better pull the power back a little bit. RPMs, they're warning me. So we're up to 140 knots right now. Alright, we're going to start heading north up the river, right up through this entry right here. Actually, we can cut across the land a little bit here. And just looking at the map, see what geographical areas we're going to be passing over. Yeah, there's the Grand Island, which I'll point out as we go over. It's a huge island. It's actually a island that belongs to the United States. It's right smack in the middle of the Niagara River. And it kind of splits the river into two areas, an east side and a west side, and then in the middle is Grand Island. So this is Buffalo, New York. In fact, that's the Buffalo International Airport right there. On the Canadian side, the city we have on the Canadian side is Fort Erie. This is Fort Erie down here. And this is the Erie Bridge. This bridge takes us from Fort Erie over to the United States. The bridge is actually called the Peace Bridge. That's this bridge right here. That's the Peace Bridge. Because, you know, Canada and the United States are peaceful neighbors, which is a wonderful thing. We share so much, we have so much in common. We also have a lot that differs. But I think we have more in common than we have that differs. This bridge over here is a railway bridge connecting the two countries. And just up ahead is Grand Island. And you can see where the Niagara River goes to the east. It also goes to the west. On the west side is Canadian waterway. On the east side it's all US, because all of the Grand Island is American territory. It's a nice marina down there. So we're making our way up the Niagara River. Let's see what the winds are doing right now. Yeah, it is windy. Winds are 241 at 26, 28, 31 knots. Yeah, that's why we've been bouncing around quite a bit. I was tempted to put it on clear weather, but I prefer to fly with live weather, no matter what it is, unless it's really intensive. So this is Grand Island that we're flying over. There's a very tiny grass airstrip. Let's see if we can fly over it. Not sure if I can find it. Let me just looking at my map over there. So there's a grass airstrip somewhere here. Actually, that might be it right there. Let's see. It's about 2 or 3 o'clock from my 2 o'clock from my helicopter on the map. Yeah, I would say that's probably it right there. And there is the city of Niagara Falls, Canada and US. Now, before we get to the falls, for those that are not aware, the famous the horseshoe fall is on Canadian territory. So the Horseshoe Fall is actually a Canadian geographical area. The American Falls is basically just a flat, a straight fall that comes over. And I think what I'll do when we do get to the falls is I will turn our daytime down to dusk, maybe even nighttime, and see if we can see some nice lights. I'm just looking over here to the left on my map, and while I'm doing that, I'm not paying attention to where I'm flying or how I'm flying, which could be a problem sometimes. Sometimes I've got myself into real serious problems by looking at the map too long. Anyway, we're okay. It's going to be wonderful when 2024 comes out. At least we're all expecting it to be wonderful. We're expecting the geography and the trees and the plants to be noticeably different. Okay, Dane, pay attention to your flying and not the map. Okay, we are very close to the falls. You can see the water starting to ripple right here. Okay. Okay, so this island right here, because the international line is right down the center of the Niagara River. This island is called Goat Island, and it belongs to the United States. And Goat Island is just at the falls, just before the falls. You can see the Horseshoe Falls right there. That's all Canadian side. And the American Falls is right there. This is a hydro generating collection of all the water for the hydro generators to create electricity. Alright, so let's get our altitude down to about 1,000 feet. We'll just kind of hover over the falls a little bit. Alright, so here we have the Horseshoe Falls, and here's the American Falls right here. It's just a straight fall right up near the Horseshoe. That's the Maid of the Mist boat down there. We'll just turn this helicopter around if I'm capable of doing it. Let's see if I can just kind of hover here. While we're here, let's just turn our lights down a little bit. have a look at Niagara Falls at night. There's the American Falls right there. Okay, before we get ourselves into trouble, I think I better get our time back to daylight. So I hope I didn't make all of you sick. I warned you, make sure you have your sick bags. Okay, this is the Rainbow Bridge, goes across here. This is the US side over here. And this is the Canadian side over here. And on the US side, there's a platform. That's where the Maid of the Mist gets the tourists to go out onto the boat. I told you I wasn't a good helicopter pilot, right? So I warned you before we started. There's an observation ramp that comes out here. People can come out and look over. And that's where the Maid of the Mist picks up passengers to take them to the falls. Alright, let's continue north and complete our journey. So this is the Rainbow Bridge that we're passing over. Oops, 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 we're going the wrong way. We're going back to the falls. Gotta do a 180 here, get back. Heading north. Alright, we're heading north. So the next bridge we come to is going to be known as the Whirlpool Bridge, because the river creates a whirlpool right here, and I'll tell you, there've been a lot of drownings in this area. People get crazy and they want to get close to the water. Whoa, 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 whoa. Should we fly under it? No, I don't think I'll do that today. I've done it with a fixed-wing airplane, but I don't want to take the chance with a helicopter. So this is the whirlpool area right here. Right in here, and then there's a cable car that goes across from the US to Canada. And this is that whirlpool area, and the water is swirling around and around because it's now going to go eastbound down here before it goes back north again. And this next area that we're coming to is the Lewiston-Queenston Bridge, again connecting the US to Canada. And this is a aqueduct here that the US have, hydroelectric production here, electricity. We're almost at the end now. You can see Lake Ontario back up here in the distance. Alright, let's check our winds before we land at the airport. Winds are 220 at look at the speed of the winds. 28, 25, 22. Not the greatest for a helicopter to be flying in. But we've done crazier things than this. I've got a fuel low warning over here, so I think I better eliminate going over to the very tip. You can see the tip from here anyway, the north tip of the Niagara River as it enters Lake Ontario. So from this point I'm going to scoot right over to the airport because I don't want to run out of fuel. So I'm turning west now, which is the direction that the wind is coming from, so at least we're heading into the wind. But it is a strong wind. So the elevation of the airport is 322 feet, and we're at 1500 right now. Oh boy, is it ever hazy. Wow. Well, no one joined me on the stream as of this point anyway, but if any of you look at it after, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you will put up with the newness of streaming, and also the newness of flying a helicopter. But I was just insistent that I wanted to use a helicopter for this part one of the Great Lakes, Welland Canal, St. Lawrence Seaway tour. So part two will be taking off from Toronto Island Airport, as I still call it, and it's going to be heading east down the St. Lawrence Seaway out to the Atlantic Ocean. And we'll be using a fixed-wing aircraft, probably the Baron, the twin-engine Baron, but it may not be, we'll see. And we'll make a couple touch-and-goes along the way, of course, at different airports. So we're going to come in here on runway 24, which really does favor the winds. Yeah, winds are 221 at 32 knots. Okay. For a novice helicopter pilot, maybe I did not too badly. Little jerky. Definitely not a flight that you want to have a cup of coffee on your lap. So here's runway 24. I am definitely not going to pretend that I can land on 24, or I should say hover along 24, then hover into the taxis strips, because that's not something I'm competent of doing. But here's the tower right over here. So at this point I am going to try to land this beast, which is my worst. This is my worst nightmare right now. So here we go. Okay, I'm gonna come to a hover. Come to a hover, get down a little bit lower. Takes me a little while to land, just so you know. There's our landing spot there, which I probably will not make. I will attempt to make it, but I probably will not make it. Let's see what happens here. Getting closer. Getting closer. No, we're not close enough. No, 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 no. Slow down, slow down. No, no, not so high. Way too high. Come back down. Here we go. I think we're doing pretty good now. There we go. Come down, come down, come down, come down. Get over a little bit. Okay, let's put it down right here. There we go. Well, we made it on the spot with a big thud. And we are back where we started. Helicopter tours and all the nice artwork. Thank you for joining Dane Simair on Simair Flyer. And we will catch you the next time. I did have an intro before the stream, and I forgot to run the intro. But that's okay. I'm just learning. So I'll try and do that on the next stream, which will be part 2. Until then, keep the wings up and keep the wheels down. Take care. Bye-bye.